Welcome to Rope Dropping Knowledge, where we guide you through the magic of Disney.
.209
209.
area code of Stockton, California. And the great Diaz brothers. Well, most of you don't know who they are. But yes, we are back. And before we get started, let's talk about giveaway stuff.
Giveaways.
So we are giving away a Loungefly Maleficent Aurora backpack, which is a weird looking backpack, but I think some people find it beautiful. And all you have to do to win this backpack, and I believe this one ends on August 26th, this giveaway, 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, must be 18 years older to enter and live in the United States. But all you have to do is direct message us via Facebook or Instagram, or you can email us at info@ropedroppingknowledge.com. The answer to this question: which Disney villain would you use to seek revenge?
We had some interesting ones.
Yeah, that's some pretty interesting ones so far. So, yep. And that could be anything in the Disney universe or any of its universes. Marvel, Star Wars, Disney. There's lots of villains. So, yeah. So by August 26th, 11:59 p.m., send us your answers. And you will get an additional entry for each medium you use. So if you use Facebook, you get one. Instagram, you get two. And then, email, that's three if you use all three. All right. No one picked up the wallet. No one found us on Disney property.
Oh, yes.
So, well, Jordan did, but we were kind of...
We're kind of like, hey, where are you? We're kind of meeting in a way.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll be back at Disneyland on the 26th. Yeah, 26th. So, if you catch us, we'll be staying on property again, and you get another chance of that wallet. You're the first ones to come up and grab us. All right. Don't grab me too hard. I'm old. And we also have an Indiana Jones print giveaway if you listen to our spoiler. So far, we only have one entry for that. This is a framed Trend International print. So, and the person who entered has already won before. So, if you want to make it a monopoly for one person, don't
That's fine.
enter. That's all. That's all
We'll
you.
just keep giving it to her.
Yeah, we'll just keep giving it. It's fine. We don't mind. We don't care. I think a lot of people probably just don't want to be spoiled.
Hasn't seen Indiana.
Yeah, don't want to be spoiled.
Or just figured, well, they'll wait till it gets on Disney Plus. Don't want to pay for it
Yeah.
in the theaters to go.
So we were back at Disney, and let's talk about our Disney day.
Well, this trip was more of the purpose was to see Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
There's very limited. They confirmed that August 31st is the last day.
Yep.
And, of course, there's no shows on Sundays and Mondays.
Yep.
So this was our, really our one day, because we're going again on the 26th. But that's kind of cutting it close.
Mm-hmm.
The 26th would be our last chance. So we figured we'd get there early. We didn't rope drop, but we got there at 9:30. So we wanted to get the premium viewing, but it was sold out by the time we got there at 9:30. And then later on I found out that they only sell like 100 of those per show.
Right.
So all 4 shows were sold out.
Yep.
So then we're like, oh, well, wah. So we figured we'll wait for the virtual queue at 10:30.
Mm-hmm. And we got it.
We got the virtual queue for the first show, so it
Yeah.
wasn't that bad. But it was, it was sold out. But I knew it would be because it's only $29. I'm like, come on. Disney people will pay $80 to,
For something a lot less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so I was kind of like, oh man, okay, that's fine, whatever. And it was hot, you know.
Yeah, it was a pretty hot day.
Yeah. So we got the virtual queue. We saw the show, and then virtual queue. I'll talk about this later. Or maybe I'll talk about this now. But I was getting grumpy because there's no line.
Yeah.
There's a line to get through them to scan your ticket that you got the virtual queue. And then after that, it's kind of like that Haunted Mansion elevator thing where stand anywhere you want, fill up all the space. When the doors open, just rush in type of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? There's no line. There's no order here. I can't. No.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this. We thought that this is going to be a good topic. We'll talk about it in a little bit later in this podcast. But Tracy likes order. She likes,
Yes.
and I think we've mentioned that a few times on the podcast. You like in
Not
your job.
really.
Oh yeah, we've talked about it a few times.
I
you
mean-
like things that work. You're very. You
Well,
get,
everyone likes things that work.
let me put it to you this way. There's a strong adverse reaction when things don't work.
Yes, but that's for everybody.
No, that's not for everyone.
Yeah. Like when people couldn't get Oogie Boogie Bash tickets because the
Yeah,
technology.
with big things, yeah. But even with small things, you'll be like, ah.
And I like order because I don't like it when people
Some berries and
just-
bushes fell on the hood of your car, and you're like, Brian, what do I do? What do I do?
No, because they fell inside, and I'm like, well, is it gonna blow up? Like, what's happening
No,
here?
your car's not going to blow up.
But luckily, there's a what do you call it?
It's a grate. It's a
A grate that
Gets you
stops
down.
it from going into my.
yeah.
Anywho, but yes, I don't like that part in the Haunted Mansion
Yeah.
where you're supposed to merge. I don't like merging lanes on the freeway because some fool will not let me through. It's like it's merging, you know, like I don't like that I don't like when people are left to their own decisions.
Yes,
They must be told what to do.
that's order.
Yes.
Almost fascist order.
No,
That's
you
why she
get-
wants the robots to
Well,
take over.
You don't get goodwill.
Tracy would be
Free
happy
will if you
under
don't use it like
Tracy
properly.
will be totally happy under Skynet. She would just be like, all right, this is what we do. Tracy dreams of the Matrix.
Well, it's if everybody would have just,
and
thought the right way,
and it's an
you
anxiety
wouldn't need
thing.
someone to tell you what to do.
Right. She doesn't trust people.
No.
And
I
so
don't like stop signs because it's like, oh great, it's not your turn, it's my turn. But see, they're left to their own decision and they make the wrong one.
Yeah.
So I don't like four-way stop signs. I don't like
Yeah.
yield to
So
turn lanes.
we go to
Oh
our
my
topic
gosh.
later on. Remember everything that was said just now. Because this is going to explain to a lot of people an answer to a question that we're always asked. So that's
Yes.
what. But we'll get to that a little bit.
Okay. Anyways, yeah. So then the cluster of Rogers to get into Rogers, but we got in and we were fine. And you know what? Every seat is a good seat, unless you want to if you had like a party of 4 and you wanted to all sit together. But I think you and I didn't have problems finding a seat.
I think the only people who don't sit together are probably standby people.
Oh yeah, there was a standby line. That's
Mhm.
right. Yeah. So we kind of sat in the what do you call it? Orchestra. Or-
Balcony.
yeah.
We're in the balcony. Orchestra's up front.
Oh, okay. Orchestra's front.
Yeah.
So and the show was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was better than I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
It's good.
So yeah, so props to all of the actors and
Mm-hmm.
who portrayed that. Performers, I should say, because they're not just actors; they're singing, they're
Mhm.
dancing, and you realize how hard. I mean, this is kind of like a duh, of course, but for them to like hit their marks like that, and just because the stage isn't huge, so for them to just. I mean, that's a lot of rehearsal time. So I can see why.
It wouldn't last that long.
It's just a big deal. It's just kind of
It's
I
a
don't know.
lot of performers.
a lot of performance.
It's not like the Frozen show where maybe it's just like a dozen
Yeah,
at most.
there's a
You know.
lot. And but it was really good, and Yeah. And you know, it's one of the funny things is, and I don't want to. I guess this is kind of a spoiler, but I'll try not to spoil it. But it's there's a part of it where how it ends because it mirrors the movies. You
Yeah.
know, so it's going. You know,
Yes.
it's pretty much telling you the story.
There's a twist at the end.
But at the end and how it ends, I wonder if that's what they're going to use as actual MCU canon as to how it ends. So that's the only thing I'll say about it. But because if it is, it's kind of a smart way to do it because it would fill in a lot of plot holes. You know.
Yeah. I guess we'll wait till after August 30th to give everyone time to see it, and then for those who didn't get to see it, you're
Yeah,
not gonna get to
you
see
ain't
it
gonna,
anyways.
you're never gonna get to see it.
Yeah,
so,
so then we'll wait and we'll tell you what
we'll
the
give a review.
plot twist is
Yeah.
at the end. That,
But I guess our early review is it was really good and it's definitely worth seeing if you can see it.
hmm
And yeah, so yeah, Jordan and Dan were there.
Jordan and Dan were there.
You didn't know they were there till we were sitting down.
Yeah, no, until Johnny sent us a message and he's like, "Hey, Jordan and Dan are there today too." We're like, "What?" So then I messaged, I think it was Jordan who
We answered.
who answers the Instagram stuff, like just like how I answer and you
Mm.
don't. So and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're down here. Maybe we'll catch you after the show." And then after the show, we ran into them.
Yeah, they were.
So it was
close.
really cool. I forgot
Yeah.
to take pictures.
Yeah,
but
we didn't
yes.
take pictures like noobs.
It was hot. What is hot? Just our brains don't work.
I was just like, you know. Well, I was trying to think of like there's stuff we could do together, but like they had like dinner reservations, we had reservations. It was just kind of like, there's really nothing.
We had a
to-
Genie Plus thing to go to,
yeah,
but
not
it was
that
just
that's
Monsters
important,
Inc.
man. That wasn't like super important.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was trying to think of too many things, and then like we forgot the basic. Like, oh, let's take a shot for the listeners.
So that was cool seeing them again. It was cool
Yeah.
meeting Dan.
Yeah, because we never met Dan.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely cool. I'm sure we'll see them again. They'll be at the parks a lot. We're at the parks a lot.
And their Instagram is Disneyland Forever.
Yes.
Disneyland without the A
Mm-hmm.
and the number 4.
Yep.
EVR. He was like, "It's really hard to find us." But we'll tag them when we post this.
So yeah, then we just did some regular Disney stuff, I guess. Yeah, I don't know if we didn't do anything spectacular. We did Monsters Inc. and then we went to Disneyland, right? You're freezing like Mitch McConnell.
No, I'm trying to think. I'm looking up, which means I'm thinking. No, we finished up in DCA and we went back to the room and took a long nap.
Oh yeah.
And I took a shower.
Oh no. We went to Jazz Kitchen first.
Oh yes,
We
which
had
we'll
dinner
talk about.
reservations.
Yeah, we had dinner reservations, but we didn't want to wait till dinner. So we're like, "Hey, will you take walk-ups and just cancel the other one?" And they're like, "Sure," because
Yeah.
it was like 2:00,
Yeah.
so it was past lunch rush.
Mhm. So, yeah, and we'll talk about that food. Good, very impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, Oh, we went up, and then when we came back down, we went to the pool area, took some pictures.
Yeah,
We actually did take a picture of the pool. The pool looks the same.
yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, it's cleaner, but it's the
Yeah.
same. And they might have done a little bit of like, spackling and refurbished type
Yeah.
stuff, but the cool area is like where the water slide is, and they have a splash pad instead of a kiddie pool now.
Yeah.
And which is a great thing because they can put more people in it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just for kids. So like, why have a pool when it's really for little kids anyway?
Yeah, and I remember when they had the little pool, there was just only Emmy in there.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody used it.
Mm.
So they figured, let's just replace the whole thing with a splash pad. And it was a Finding Nemo theme.
So the whole, pretty much all of it, it's Finding Nemo theme. But
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. And the splash pad is just definitely something. It's easy for parents to run out and get their kids, but it's easy
Yeah.
to let the kids run around and they're not going to drown.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to worry
do
about
the
them.
life jacket and all
You
that
know.
stuff.
Unless someone
Yeah.
puts their entire mouth over one of the fountains or something. Some kids will do that.
Even then, the fountains, like, don't they go low and then high?
Yeah. I could picture a kid waiting for it's off, and it's
Oh, yeah.
kids will do the darndest things, man. You never know. So you still watch your kids, but you don't have to worry as much. So, yeah, I can't wait to see the nieces on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And we have some news that could be even right now. We might be expecting another niece.
Yes, we are expecting another niece right now. Our cousin's in labor.
Yeah.
The one where we talked about their
We went to their
wedding in May.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're just waiting anxiously
It's
to
funny
hear the
because she
news.
texts you.
That was
it's like,
hilarious.
Hello, I'm Brian. I'm in labor now. And you're like, should you be texting?
She's just like, I'm like, dang. She's taking it like a champ. Like, it was a trooper.
Actually, it was 8:30 last night that she came in.
Yeah.
So when she texted you, it was what, like 11 o'clock this morning?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm still here.
She's just like, That's cool, man. So yeah, we could get a call any minute.
That's funny.
So yeah, I think, and then afterwards, we came back at night, went to Disney, did the regular rides we did.
Thunder Mountain.
Thunder Mountain.
We didn't do Matterhorn, I don't think.
No, but we had like a lot of like
multi-experience.
yeah. So we ended up using the first time we ended up using the multi-experience on Pirates.
Oh yes, first time using it on Pirates, and you have to go on the left side because that's the side for special multi-experience, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you know when we stand in line, they always say the right side's faster,
Mm-hmm.
and it is
Mm-hmm.
because even with that multi-experience, the
The
left
people
side
that-
took forever.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, why is everyone going on that boat on the right side? But then the left side boat is the front boat. So that has to move in order for the right to move. But for some reason, that line is not moving.
Yeah.
So it took forever.
So it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that what did we do? We went on Matterhorn, right? Oh no, we didn't.
No, we had Lightning Lane. We
Oh,
used
no,
it,
no,
and
we gave
I
that-
gave it to Jordan, but I don't
Yeah.
know if they used
Yeah,
it
because they were already
because
lined
they
up for the fireworks.
fireworks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were stuck at the fireworks.
We went on Space Mountain.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah. So we had pretty good Disney day.
And it's about to close mid-September, and there's
Mhm.
no reopening date.
Yeah,
So maybe they'll turn it into Ghost Galaxy. Who knows?
that'd be cool.
They didn't do that last year.
No, they've skipped. I don't even know if they did the year before either.
Oh.
So honestly, I don't know if they've done it since the pandemic.
Yeah, no, they haven't.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, yeah, I think that was our day.
Yeah, it was like hot, so we didn't really do much in the afternoon. Like we waited till the evening to come back and do
Right.
most of the stuff.
So, you know what? Let's just go ahead and get into some food.
It's Taste Talk with Tracy. Mash some magic in your mouth.
So yes, we went to Jazz Kitchen, and we found out something new
Mhm.
that Magic Key discounts. It's either Jazz Kitchen only or Downtown Disney.
Yeah,
Not sure, but
server didn't know.
our server didn't know. But he says he knows at least for just Jazz Kitchen, Magic Key discounts don't apply on the weekends and after 4 p.m. at
Yeah.
Downtown Disney or at Jazz Kitchen. So
Yeah.
I asked him, "Is this all of Downtown Disney or just Jazz Kitchen?" He's like, he's not sure about the rest of Downtown Disney, but that's what it is now for Jazz Kitchen. I was like, oh, good to know.
Yeah, definitely.
Because before our Magic Key discounts were
Perfect. Worked
everywhere in Downtown
Yeah.
Disney.
Mhm.
So that's interesting. Is
Yeah.
No weekends and after 4 p.m.
And I wonder whose decision that was because some of them are franchises. So I wonder if it's individual restaurant
Oh.
decisions or is that a Disney decision? So I don't know. So
I'm pretty sure it, well, I don't know, but I'm thinking it would work at World of Disney all the time.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's part of Disney, the Disney merch. But
Like, what about Salt and Straw and all those other places?
Mm-hmm. Tortilla Joe's.
Jazz Kitchen Express? What
Yeah.
about that place?
Well, if it's not Jazz Kitchen, I don't think it'll be Jazz Kitchen Express either.
Huh.
So we'll ask some of our shadow magic to see if we can get some answers.
So I had the lobster and crawfish remoulade roll.
Yeah.
So it's a boiled Louisiana crawfish, Maine lobster tossed in Jazz Kitchen house-made remoulade sauce with butter lettuce, not buttered lettuce, fresh basil leaves, and pickled red onions on a toasted brioche roll.
And
Served with French fries.
how'd you like it?
I loved it. Seafood. It was like a lot of seafood.
Yeah, it was really good. I took a bite. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, I don't think that.
It wasn't heavy.
Yeah,
Just the fries on the side were heavy, but it was like a light.
I'll give it a 7 out of 10. What would you give it?
8.
Mm.
And then you had the reef and beef,
Yeah.
which is which is like the shrimp and grits,
Yeah.
but
With beef.
with braised
rib.
short rib,
Yeah.
creamy grits.
So it's still got the shrimp in it, and it's still the grits, and then it's braised short rib. Man, that was delicious.
It looked like heavy.
By the end, it's heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot, but it's really good. And yeah, I'll give that probably an 8.5.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really good. Because I don't even like eating big meals anymore, but I finished that.
Yeah, we went back and took a long nap, so it was all good.
So yeah, definitely good.
Yeah.
So you had the mint julep too.
Yeah, their drinks were strong. I had a real mint julep, which he said was basically just
See, I had it a long time ago.
the maker's mark or whatever that
Mhm.
bourbon.
Mhm.
Yeah, and just like that's it, and just like a splash of maybe not a splash, but maybe some mint leaves in there,
Mhm.
and that's the real mint julep.
Yeah.
They don't put anything sweet in there.
And he said it was funny because people would come from the park and order a mint julep and be shocked, and I'm like,
And thinking it's
why would
like
you
the
be
one
shocked that a slushy doesn't taste like an alcoholic drink?
because in the parks, a mint julep is those non-alcoholic.
I know,
things.
but it's like,
the mint julep
but you would
bar.
think you would know what a
Yeah.
you know what a non-alcoholic drink versus an alcoholic drink should be.
That's why I was like, I want the real mint julep, not the fake non-alcoholic one. He's like, yep, gotcha. So then he was like, do you like it? And I was like, yeah, it's really good. He's like, yeah, most people thought it wasn't, was expecting something sweet, like a mojito, and that's not a real mint julep.
No. Nope. No, it's
So,
not.
and then you got the Manhattan.
Yeah. So now about Tracy.
Me and my travel anxiety.
So
So what's the question everybody asks us?
Why don't you ever go to Disney World?
Yes, when are you coming to Disney World? Never. And
Well, I think it's not that we won't go. I think it's one of those things that we didn't even realize why we weren't going. And then when we were driving home from Disney the last time,
yes,
past time, we had like kind of like a
well, it's because we were listening to Johnny and
Yeah.
Hannah and
oh
Elisa.
yeah. We're listening to describe all of the stuff.
Because Hannah and Elisa from Learning the Magic podcast are going to Disney World. And they had Johnny on the show to tell them what to do, like kind of like a therapy session kind of show for Johnny to show them the ways.
Yeah,
And I can tell
it's more of a
Hannah was taking
guidance
notes.
show. Yeah, like
Hannah was taking like really detailed notes. Elisa's more like, I know nothing. I'm just going to just go, like
Yeah.
do whatever Hannah tells me. And Johnny's more like, no, don't do that. No, do this instead. And Hannah's like, why can't I just take an Uber? No, you shouldn't do that, or whatever. And I'm like, dude, this more than confirms why we haven't gone to Disney World.
yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
unless I can afford a plaid, I'm not going. Now Johnny has offered, right, to be our plaid.
Well, you offered to be their plaid. First.
Yeah, and he couldn't because he's like, oh no, I don't think I can make that trip, like because
Yeah.
without his wife and kids and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was
He's
like,
gone
okay,
enough
next
places by
time
himself.
I would rather pay for his trip. It might be cheaper than just paying for a plaque.
Yeah, because they offered, and I think it would be.
Yeah.
You know,
Like, you and a kid, come on, let's go. Tell me what to do. Just,
because we were figuring it out, and it's like one of the things that we would always kind of like bicker about. Like, every married couple bickers about something, and this is stuff that like, and then it finally came out. It's like, oh, Tracy's desire for complete order and functionality, like, trumps everything else. Like, that's because if something goes wrong, and I will explain this a little better, but I think we come up with a pretty good example, right?
yes.
And what's the example?
The example is, so the reason why I don't travel is I have a must-do list whenever I go somewhere. So, for example,
Which
if
I
you're
hate.
going to go, for example, which is why I'm like, I don't understand why you hate that. But if we were going to go to Paris, for example,
Right.
what do you have to do? See the Eiffel Tower. What I'm afraid of is, that's the example. I go to Paris, I spend all this money, I save for this trip to Paris, and I get there, and then I come home, and I never got to see the Eiffel Tower.
Right.
So that's why Disney World is a whole bunch of Eiffel Towers there, where there's so many things that must-dos. You need the Tron, the Cosmic Rewind, this, that, I don't know, everything.
And here's the thing. And it's like,
And there's no, like, if you don't get to do it, you'll come back. I'm not an annual pass holder.
so
That's why I don't
So-
recommend people go to Disneyland either. If you're not an annual pass holder, don't come to Disneyland. Because if you don't get it done, it'll
yeah.
suck
But-
for you.
But she
and
doesn't.
me.
She thinks that everyone thinks like her. No, because if that was the case, nobody would go on vacations.
Like when your friend went.
Vacations are like a $30-something billion a year industry.
That's why I don't go to vacation.
Yeah, but my point is you think you're normal. That's the thing. You think that you'll justify be like, that's everyone. I'm like, if that was everyone, no one would go on vacation. You see what I mean?
Well,
That's not
like
everyone.
when your friend AJ went to Disneyland
Yeah,
to ride Rise of the Resistance,
right.
and he didn't get to ride.
He wasn't
and when-
upset.
I was upset for him.
Exactly.
I'm like, what? You need to come back. Like, but when Campia couldn't ride Web Slingers and Rise of the Resistance, I was like, oh my God, what? Like, I was
Yeah,
upset
he went
for
off.
them.
He went off, and
Yeah.
then he's like you. But you guys are a minority. You guys got to realize that, like, the first step to recovery is realizing you got a problem.
Yes, I do have a problem.
So
That's why I don't travel.
and so here's the thing. I have like a different anxiety. Like my anxiety, one, I'm a giver, right? And givers want people to be happy, and we get anxious when they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Tracy will never. So I want to say this up front. Tracy, when she gets upset, she never directs it at me. I think a lot of people think she directs it at me. It's not the fact that when Tracy gets mad at stuff that I feel like, I'm getting yelled at or something. That's not the case. My point is that I want people to be happy, period. Especially the people I'm with. To me, it's like a lot of guys feel responsible for, especially like their wives, girlfriends, significant others, kids, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
They feel responsible for their safety. And then you have people like me who feel responsible for safety and that they have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that the way Tracy is, it's like, well, if we go to Paris and there's a traffic jam and we can't get to the Eiffel Tower, or that elevator in the Eiffel Tower is closed that weekend or whatever, that she can't get to go, it's going to really set her off. Like, that causes me anxiety. Even if it's open and there's nothing wrong, to me, I don't even want to risk going.
Well, like you were saying, when we couldn't get the Rogers Premium package that morning,
Yeah.
you were scared that I would go off.
No.
But I
No. I wasn't scared that we would go off if something is an absolute no. What I'm scared of is like
We get the virtual queue.
We go to virtual queue and then something goes wrong.
Oh.
I'm scared of actually I'm not scared of like something not happening in advance. Like we know it's not going to happen. Because when you go off, it's all not good. You don't go off like you go crazy like a Karen. But what I'm worried about is something that what you don't like is something that's expected that doesn't happen.
Oh, yes. Like there was a virtual queue, but then some reason it's full.
Yeah.
anyways, and
Yeah.
you know.
So like we got there. So for example, like we got the virtual queue. This is a perfect example, right, of how I react. Like we got the virtual queue and they tell you to get there 45 to 30 minutes early. Like Tracy was like, oh, maybe we need to use the bathroom. I'm like, well, people are lining up. Like I don't want to risk like us getting there, even if we did exactly what it says.
Yeah.
Because that's what sets Tracy off.
Yeah.
Following the rules and not getting rewarded for following the rules. She wants complete order. She believes that, you know, hey, if I eat vitamins, I won't get cancer. Like she's, and you know what I mean? Like she's, the universe is supposed to work to according to rules. And I'm just like, there are no rules. You know, things are basically all variables. Everything's variable, right?
Yeah.
And it's like things go wrong, things happen. Like in life, you got to learn to surf. It's not a train. Tracy thinks life is a train, and it's a track, and it's long. And if that track should start at one destination and end up at the other destination. And I'm like, yeah, sometimes things happen. Sometimes you're going to miss your flight. Sometimes you're going to do this, you know. And it's like when I used to go out and go on in places with like my guy friends before I was married and stuff, everything was like an adventure. But I didn't feel responsible for them. So something went wrong or whatever. I don't have that
You just
emotional
chill. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, you're a dude. Like, suck it up.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know I was gonna have different feelings when I got married about like my wife. You know what I mean? So it was, and then by the way, it's not just my wife. It's like my mom. It's like my sister. It's like
Yeah,
me
but
and Emmy. It's like, and then most of them don't go off like you do. But it's like,
But if you're
going
gonna go somewhere, you're going somewhere to see something.
I'm going somewhere to hopefully see something. That's the way I always think about it.
Then that's why I'm like, then just go to somewhere chill, like
Right.
Hawaii, where you, well, not now, but you know, like
Yeah.
Cancun or something, and just lay on the beach.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing to see there. But we're not beach people. We don't like laying on the beach.
See, if we would have went to, you know, and bless everyone in Maui, because that's a horrible tragedy. But if we would have had a trip planned to Maui
Oh yeah.
and got to the airport and it was canceled, Tracy wouldn't be thinking about the fires at the moment. She'd be pissed.
No, I'd be like, oh, this, because we didn't make it all the way there, so
Yeah. Yeah.
it's different.
So I would be like, yeah.
Yeah, it is like going to Disney World. What if we make it all the way there and then there's this hurricane, which happens all the time?
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
Yeah.
ugh.
You always used
You
to
know?
use the word force majeure.
Yeah.
That's what life is, man.
There was a whole bunch of force majeures. and-
Yeah, and you got to just kind of be able to roll with it, you know. And it's like, and so it's like, like a lot of people always ask, why haven't you guys gone to Disney World? It's like, and Tracy would always say, well, we don't. It's like, it's not we.
Well, if you did the planning and it didn't work out, I wouldn't be too upset because I didn't do all the work.
But it's like you always say, it stresses us out, and I'm like, it's not us, it's not me. The only thing that you stress me out. Going to Walt Disney World doesn't stress me out.
because I did the
No,
planning.
I get stressed out because you could get upset. That's the only thing that stresses me out. So
Yes.
I'd rather just not go because all these other people are like, they're going and they're just kind of like, well, whatever. We'll just roll with it. We're not a roll with it people. We're not a roll with it couple, apparently.
No.
So in some places, if you can't roll with it, you don't roll.
That's why I don't understand why I got into Disney, because this is the most stressful thing. Going to Disneyland is like stress on top of stress. I don't know why I chose this to be my fun thing.
And you have a magic key, so I don't understand why it's still stressful. Because
Yeah,
it's-
that helps. I'd be like, oh, I could always come back next week, you know, and do whatever. But it's like, you know how Disney always has these like FOMO traps? Like, Rogers, it's only here till August 30th. And then, oh, this thing, you can only do it until whatever day. So it's always like that with Disney, and it's limited merch, you know, so yeah.
Yeah, she gets, you know, that whole thing what we call lumptum. Like she is lumptum. Like she gets very excited. She's like, "Okay, we're gonna do this. This is what we gotta do." Da 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 da. And it's like, dude, it might not happen. And so, like, sometimes people think I think they look at me and they're like, Brian's just kind of a stick in the mud. He doesn't want to do stuff. It's like, I don't want to risk doing stuff. I don't want to risk trying stuff. You know, like. It's kind of like when my friend says, "Hey, you want to like teach some kids classes in jiu-jitsu," which a lot could go wrong. There's a lot of stress. I'm like, "Yeah, I'll try it,"
Mm-hmm.
because it's no expectation from me. There's expectation, but it's like I'll try anything as long as whatever happens is just whatever. You know what I mean? Like whatever happens. I just don't like other people having an emotional attachment to success or failure on things that really aren't that important in life, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's kind of like,
But it's
'cause
not
to
that
me,
it's
it's like-
a priority. It's that if I'm going to do this, I have to do it the right way.
right.
It's not that I have to do it. That's why I'd rather not. And that's
Right.
why we don't travel.
Yeah. So
You know?
and then it's kind of made me have a realization of why a lot of people go camping and go to
Yeah.
hiking and stuff, because mountain's going to be the mountain. Mountain ain't changing. There's no special event.
Yeah, you're just
There's
sitting
no-
there and
there's no,
well, you might.
there's
There's
no
people
lightning
who go
lanes.
camping who try to catch a meteor shower or something like that. But
Yeah, maybe.
but it's rare.
Yeah, I think maybe those are people who are like you, who realize that, you know what, there's just too many things that could go on with modern stuff. Maybe the great outdoors is just whatever. We're going to go to a lake. Lake's probably going to be there. 90% chance.
Yeah,
as long as
yeah.
we don't get snowed in. Like there'd have to be something crazy, like a natural disaster, for us not to
Mm-hmm.
do what we're going to do. So, yeah, and so that's why we haven't been to Disney World.
And then remember, I'm still bitter about the first time we went to Disneyland, and we stayed across the street at the Fairfield that's next to that courtyard that's called Park Entrance Courtyard.
Oh yeah.
And we didn't know that the Disneyland entrance was right across the street, and
Yeah.
we drove and parked.
Yeah.
And then now we realize that's where we stayed the first time, and it's right across the street, and we drove. So I'm afraid of doing something stupid like that when I go to Disney World. And that would get me so mad, because I'm still mad at the fact that I did that when I went to
Yeah.
Disneyland the first
So
time.
she's mad when the rules
When
don't
the
pay
tips,
off.
when I don't use the tips or
Or
whatever.
when the rules don't pay off, or she does something that she should have known and doesn't.
Yeah.
So
Because there's so many
yeah, and it's like,
tips and stuff
and it's
to
like,
go to.
but in my
Disneyland,
mind, I'm just
Disney
like, who
World.
cares? You're at Disney World,
I care.
Doesn't matter. It's like, doesn't matter.
It does
You
matter.
have to chill.
I'd rather not
She has
do
no
it at all.
chill. She has
No,
no
not
chill.
when it comes to traveling and
No.
doing things. I'm not.
Mwah. Be more like your sister. Chill.
No, she stresses out when she has to do something. She has a bucket list too, like a checklist.
Yeah, not like you. She's pretty just grateful for being places. So's your mom. You're more like your granddad.
Maybe.
Or maybe your dad.
Because I mean, why do people travel if it's so stressful?
Because they're chill. It's to
No.
get away from where they are. It's
No,
escapism.
I think because they both when they travel to see places though, not
Like, we
to
watched an
resort
entire-
destinations.
We watched an entire episode of Provost, how they didn't even get to go to Disney's Secret Island. He's not as upset with you
He was
when you
upset
didn't know where
because
the
his
buses
mom
were.
couldn't go.
Yeah, and I'm saying even with like something like really emotionally like, wow, they paid for a cruise and his mom might not get to go before she died. They were less upset with you than when you didn't know where the buses were taking off. That's the scale, is what I'm saying.
Oh, that's just trying to get home and
Yeah,
you know.
I'm saying you're.
But like
you
something
get to
like
measure
that.
it.
Yes, something like that
Yeah,
would be
you would go
something like
nuclear.
what Provost experienced,
go
Provost and
nuclear.
everybody.
and they
And
wanted
that's
to
why I
say-
don't travel, because
Yeah. You get upset with much smaller
like
things.
that could happen.
Yeah.
So many things could go wrong.
Yeah, well, not going wrong. It's just life.
I will just, like I told Brian, it's mine. I'll just watch the Eiffel Tower on TV. There's an Eiffel Tower in Vegas that I've seen plenty of time. I don't need to go all the way to Paris. Especially after that one guy, TikToker, showed like what Paris really looks like. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to Paris. I'll just watch it on TV. It's fine.
I am so glad we didn't have any trips planned, right when COVID hit.
Oh, yeah.
Because everything's getting canceled and people getting stuck in different countries. Like, oh, Yeah, Tracy would have started an international incident. But that's one of some people say, well, then why would Brian want to go to Disney Japan? It's because
there's order there.
they're so orderly that it probably will work out.
Like Tokyo Disney would be somewhere if I had to leave the country. That's where I would go first.
We would go to Tokyo.
There's like a
over
line
Florida.
to get into the line. There's a line on the. You go in the monorail or whatever it is, their transportation system. There's like seat numbers, a line. Everyone's so respectful and calm. Nobody's pushing anybody.
Yeah. Disney Tokyo, or maybe just a relaxing stay in Singapore or something, and that's be a trip for Tracy. You
Yes,
know,
I can afford to go to Singapore. Where
where people cut in line to get caned or something. That's Tracy's type of country, man. And I'm like, yeah. We'll end it. Yeah, a lot of people wonder why we don't have kids. Now you know. Now you know all our secrets. All right.
Oh, it looks like the Skeleton Crew moved to 2024.
Yep.
It probably has to do with the strike.
Yep.
Right?
Well, I think this one was pretty much done.
Oh.
But at the same time, I think they're going to be moving a lot of stuff around because, like I said, they're not going to have like a lot of the shows on schedule are just not going to happen. At least they're going to be pushed back probably at least a year. So I think what they're going to do is say, okay, what do we have? This is why I was always wondering about the why are they releasing Echo this year? I guarantee you they're probably going to take my advice and push that back too. Because they were going to release it in like one lump, thing.
Oh yeah, in the whole series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was going to be like right after Loki or something, or
Yeah.
around the same time as Loki. And I was just like, well, and I think then there was only the writer strike, but now that the actors are striking too, oh yeah, they're going to push that back because they're going to need content, and they only have so many things that are done finished products, and so 2024 is going to be kind of barren, I think, because I think they have. I mean, obviously they have movies that that aren't finished, but I don't know what they've wrapped on. But anything that they have wrapped on, they're going to start spreading out. So at least they have content throughout 2024, and it's going to be sparse because after Ahsoka, I'm trying to think. They'll probably have like Star Wars Visions, which is the the next anime
the
thing.
anime.
And the reason I think they might have that because I think a lot of the studios are in Japan, so they're probably not WGA or SAG. So so they have that. There's going to be a lot. If you guys, who's going to benefit from this is Korea. All the Korean stuff is going to start.
The K-drama stuff.
K-drama, well, not just the K-drama like in its typical sense, but like Squid Games, just anything made.
Like the Parasites and.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot more of that because none of those things are SAG or WGA.
Oh.
So like all these streaming services. I mean, Disney. I mean, they're not going to be Disney related, so Disney can't do it. But like see Netflix and a lot of other, Apple, Amazon, you're going to see them buying a lot of these properties that are made overseas, and that's probably what you're going to see in 2024. You're going to see this big spike in foreign-made stuff, and 'cause I don't see an end of the strikes. Honestly, I don't. It doesn't seem like the executives are even making statements. They're just kind of like, okay.
I know.
They're like, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think, the thing that Ron Perlman got upset about, so ticked off about, but it's a true
That's
statement.
what they're going to do. Yeah.
They're going to wait till people start losing their homes and start getting super desperate for money to where they're going to cave. And I think that's a horrible thing to happen. And it's a horrible, it's a brutal strategy, but it's also like if you want to win a war, wars aren't pretty, and that's what happens. I'm not saying I'm on the side of the executives. I'm on the side of the actors. I do think actors and writers, should get better residuals and stuff. I don't know what they're going to do with AI. I think AI is inevitable, but at least, in the meantime, they could get that stuff. But then again, I've always made the point that no one really knows the numbers of some of these streaming services.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they actually released all the numbers, I don't know if they would actually get residuals still.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like, but yeah, it's a tough, it's just tough all around. So entertainment's going to be tricky, 2024, 2025. So we'll see though. We'll see. All right.
So there's a new unique food item at Disney World. It's the chicken stuffed Mickey waffles. They're at the Rick Sports Bar and Grill at Disney's Coronado Springs Resort. Chicken stuffed Mickey waffles.
Here's the thing. Remember when I was on Gold Bill and I bought those chicken sandwiches?
Yeah.
And they tasted, I bet they taste something like that. Like a cheaper version of that,
So like
breaded chicken on top of inside breaded chicken.
So is it like the waffles, the sandwich part?
The chicken's inside the waffle, but it's on a stick.
Oh.
Yeah.
Kind of like Brooksie's where they have chicken waffle sandwiches.
Yeah. So I bet you it tastes good, even though it may not sound good. Because chicken and waffles, when you think about it, doesn't sound good.
Only to you, because you don't like sweets with savory.
Yeah, but I mean, when it first came out, I think people started to taste it and they liked it after they tasted it. But I think when it was first announced, they were just like, ugh, chicken and waffles,
Yeah.
Like when sushi first came out, people didn't like, they were like,
Well,
but raw fish.
I don't know if they have it here, but in Orange County they have Brooksie's. So
Mhm.
which is sandwiches, but the sandwich is a waffle.
Yeah.
So it's chicken, whatever sandwich, chicken, turkey, whatever. But they instead of bread, they use waffles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was pretty good.
Yeah, so I bet you they are pretty good. They do testing, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll have somebody report back to us since we're not going.
Well, maybe Hannah and well,
Yeah,
no, they
yeah.
have their schedule's packed. There's no dining reservation for them. Hannah already said no pool time, no dining.
Oh,
Anyways, okay, Avengers Vault
Hmm.
is here. It's a new retail location coming to headquarters at Avengers Campus in mid-September. It's called the Avengers Vault, and they have a picture on the Disney Parks Instagram of what is being sold, and it just looks like the stuff that's in that, what is it, collector's
The
item?
backlot?
No, the collector's outside of Mission Breakout.
Oh,
The collector's
Mhm.
store or whatever.
it's going to be like their version of Doc Ondors, but for
Yeah,
Marvel.
so it has the the gauntlet and the Tesseract,
Mm.
the Eye of Agamotto, like all that stuff. Yes. So when they make the announcement, it looks like a new ride is coming, but it's really just a store.
Mm.
They're trying to make it exciting.
Well, that's, that's cool.
We don't know when the new ride's coming.
So we have, and I don't even think I ever announced. Did I say that at the beginning of the podcast about the Indiana Jones giveaway?
Yes,
Did I say that it was the 19th is the last day?
I'm not sure.
Okay, 11:59 p.m. That's this coming Saturday is the last day. I told you we only had one entry so far. So right now, we are actually going to do another spoiler giveaway. So we're going to have two, at least until Saturday, two spoiler giveaways going on at once. And if you guys want to cut out, you can cut out. This one is for Secret Invasion. So cut out when you hear the chimes if you don't want to be spoiled. Okay. So we got some other stuff coming up this month that you'll find out about pretty soon. So if we were going to review a Secret Invasion, we had to do it now, in my opinion. And so, so we'll talk a little bit about it. This show is, I always say that the MCU is kind of split into like these different levels.
Mhm.
You have like it's kind of like you have like your espionage level.
Mhm.
I said you have your ground level, right? Now, ground level, street level, that's going to be more like your Daredevil type stuff.
Mm.
So that's when
Hawkeye, Daredevil.
I think Hawkeye can go between levels,
Mm.
but I think like the Hawkeye show
Mm-hmm.
was street level,
Mm-hmm.
and that's more of like you're dealing with gangsters, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not that people don't have superpowers, but it's more like the stuff you saw on Marvel Netflix.
Mm.
You know, Daredevil, Luke Cage. You know, like there's real cops. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, not real cops, but there's, you know, like the law enforcement agency isn't like SHIELD. It's
Mhm.
going to be police officers, like
Mhm.
you know, and you're dealing with real criminals. You know,
Yeah.
you're going to see people get mugged. You know,
Yeah.
it's real. It's grimy. It's stuff that we could probably see in real life. Most of it,
Yeah.
you know, with a few super powered things thrown in.
Yeah.
So that's one level, and then there's your espionage. You know, international level.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the Nick Fury comes in, your Black Widows, Winter Soldier type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I say Hawkeye is kind of in between.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he can go either or. And then you have like your world level stuff, which is, you know, your Iron Man stuff, you know, saving the world type stuff. I mean, saving the world from like big things,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Avengers level stuff. And then there's your cosmic and then / multiversal stuff.
Yeah.
To where it's
Like
Gets-
Guardians of the Galaxy.
space and
Yeah.
beyond,
Mhm.
right? So Nick Fury is definitely the espionage level stuff, but
Mhm.
they threw in some space stuff because he's dealing with the Skrulls.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of like a mix. So they're trying to kind of make Nick Fury, if Hawkeye can go between street and espionage, Nick Fury goes between espionage and space. And they're trying to give him that kind of double look.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people were really hyped for this show, and I think a lot of people were disappointed.
Yeah.
And again, I'm never really that disappointed in a lot of these things because, again, there's not going to be another Endgame. I keep telling people that, you know, I think people are still on that Endgame high, and you know, it's just like they're not going to get it to that level. I mean, even with Secret Wars and the Kang Dynasty, I don't think
Yeah.
emotionally we're going to ever get to that
Yeah.
level again, because it was just a perfect build up. It was something that was once in a lifetime, the build up and the payoff, and we're just never going to do that again. And to repeat it, even if they do it just as good, it's not going to be as satisfactory, right? I think that for what it was okay. What I was disappointed in is how much they spent, because they spent like $250 million. You know,
Well, there was a lot of CGI.
there's a lot of
stuff.
CGI, but I guess what I'm saying is this show could have been done with. First of all, I mean, they made Super Scrolls, and this is one thing that I do criticize Marvel for. They do a lot of big things,
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, we're gonna have Super Scrolls now. I don't know if we're ever gonna see them again.
Yeah.
You know, like Amelia Clark turns into a Super Scroll, and
Which is what is
Ravik turns into a Super Scroll.
weird for me because, well, there was two things I thought was weird about Secret Invasions. Is Amelia Clark now is the strongest Avenger because she has all the powers,
Apparently, yeah.
right? And like, okay, that's strange for a TV show to just do that.
Mhm.
Because kind of like, oh, now she's the most powerful Avenger. You know, it used to be Miss Marvel. I mean, not
Yeah.
Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel,
Yeah.
right? And then all of a sudden, the whole, what's his name? War Machine
Oh, Rhodey.
thing. I'm like, really? Like, they put him in a hospital gown, right?
At the
they,
end.
At the end, and
They
the
found
real War Machine, and supposedly that's the hospital gown he was in when he was injured in Civil War. I'm like, you mean to tell me this whole time that wasn't Rhodey, the guy who cried when Iron Man died, the guy who, you know, like all that stuff?
They haven't confirmed that,
I
and then some
know.
people in Marvel are pushing back on that. But I think that's probably what their intention was, and I think they're going to see the backlash and then nix that story.
Yeah, they better. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like all that stuff that happened after Civil War. There's so much that happened with Rhodey
Mhm.
in it.
Yeah.
And that whole speech he gave to Sam,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
about taking the mantle and all this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be tough. But maybe, and then again, this is the Marvel fanboy in me, right? Maybe it'll pay off in Armor Wars. You know?
Yeah,
But-
I'm there. I think they're doing this to hype up Armor Wars because that was like so forgotten, that
Mhm.
movie.
Well, it was supposed to be a show, and then they turned it into a movie.
Yeah, and it wasn't even in the timeline when they
Mhm.
announced it at D23. So I think maybe this is like, okay, now I have to tune into Armor Wars to see if that was really Rhodey or whatever, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And there are some things to criticize. My whole thing, and I'm looking at it maybe too much from like a business standpoint. I'm like, dude, this show could have been done with like, you could have had like one scroll, you know, changing from human to scroll, or
Mhm.
changing faces per episode, and had the same storyline. You didn't need the super scrolls at the end because they had like a big enough threat, which was the nuclear stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and yes, they do have super scrolls in the comics, and if you're gonna make that pay off in some big way later,
Mm-hmm.
that'd be cool. They did all this money on the Eternals, and we had the Celestials, and the only way they paid off is they had a goofy look in Thor: Love and Thunder, where they were just looking at them when they were flying off with the goats. That was the only.
Oh, yeah.
that was
I
the
had
only
forgot
time we
about
saw the
that.
Celestials again.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's not a payoff. You know, that's so it's, I don't know. It's like, yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, now, was it a good show? Yeah. Like if you had never, again, if there wasn't, I'm sometimes trying to give Marvel a little bit of slack. Like if there was no Endgame and stuff like this and they came out with this, people would be going crazy. But people going, and I don't blame people for upping their expectations. You have a right to up your expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And has Marvel done that with Phase 4 and so far with Phase 5? Not really. I think the best things were, again, from a popular point of view, were Spider-Man, you know, No Way Home, and Guardians,
Mm-hmm.
3. Those are the two big things that stood out. And then you could probably throw in Wakanda Forever, you know. A lot of people like that. Still, a lot of people had some disappointments, but the disappointments were, again, things that they couldn't control, right? So yeah, you know, it's kind of hard. I mean, I would still give this probably, in my opinion, a 7.
Mm.
You know, I don't think that. I don't. I don't know. I think with Disney Plus as a whole, there's two big things that could right the ship,
Mm-hmm.
and that's Ahsoka and Loki, and they're both coming out pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
So if those things tank, there's big problems.
Yeah.
Because those are the things that, one for Star Wars, one for Marvel,
Mhm.
right? And if the Loki stuff doesn't pay off on the connectivity that everyone's looking for
Mm-hmm.
the MCU to get that old, you know, Phase 3 back
Mhm.
in people's blood, yeah, they're gonna have some big problems because Loki is the thing that kind of set off
Yeah.
Kang and everything else,
Yeah.
and then Ahsoka is the one thing that's Star Wars related. It's original as far as I
think
mean, the character's not
Ahsoka-
original, but this is going to be an original story. So
Right.
it's
If
not
it-
like and it's in a Mandoverse, so they don't have to worry about, you know, the Star Wars geeks saying, oh, that's, you know, that's not continuity or whatever, because this
Yeah.
is new stuff. And it's from Dave Filoni, which they love because they think he's like the minor Lucas. So,
They loved Mandalorian. I think they Ahsoka better be like have that success that the Mandalorian had.
first season.
First season.
That's,
Mandalorian.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because second season, I like all the
Second
seasons.
season
I liked all
people
of them.
liked,
Again, but then again, I'm easy to please
Yeah.
because I'm not as, I kind of
Second
know
season
what
was
goes
the
into
Luke
things.
thing. It saved it.
Yeah, you know, but there were still people getting more critical until the Luke thing. And then the third season was like, okay, so basically we're back to square one, you know, kind of, you know, at the end of everything.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of that had to do with the Book of Boba Fett, you know.
Right.
But, you know, this is a Secret Invasion MCU kind of breakdown. But yeah, that and then Loki. And if those two things don't do what people expect, and I'm not saying they have to do what people expect, but that's how you're going to keep your subscribers, You know,
Otherwise, it's gonna get sold to Apple. That part.
and Apple said they don't want to buy. Well, at least that's what they're saying. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. My worry is that they're going to end up selling to some like, I don't know, Saudi Arabian equity group that no one knows about, and it's going to be. And then I don't really think that benefits anyone. They just get it off their hands. They make money, like the owners, like the shareholders, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll make a little money. You know, not a lot.
Sell it off. Yeah.
But
Cut
then,
my losses.
but then it's like it's no longer Disney. It's
Yeah.
just going to be air. You know, so.
Yeah.
And they can sell the whole thing. And so a lot of people who are listening to this are like, yeah, well, I'm not really a Disney Plus subscriber. No. If they sell it, they could sell the parks and everything too,
Yeah.
So-
Right now, they're only looking at TV strategy.
supposedly.
That's why the two guys came.
Supposedly. But if you, and I think they're probably, and I actually don't care if they sell ESPN and ABC
Yeah.
and whatever. But if they're looking at selling the whole kit and caboodle, it's going to
Mhm.
be, it's going to be rough if Apple doesn't buy it. Because there's no one else who can really do anything with it
Yeah.
in a positive way.
Right.
But there are people who have money. We looked at the market cap. It's 169 billion, $169 billion, which sounds like a lot of money, but for like companies, like mega company, what you would consider a mega company,
Mm-hmm.
that ain't a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Apple is. When we look at it, they're worth $2 trillion something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. That to me, that's scary. Like just some random shadow group buying it,
Yeah.
not caring about anything.
But they
and
wouldn't approve the sale.
Who wouldn't?
The
approve it?
shareholders.
Dude, the shareholders
Or the
didn't want
board.
Elon Musk to buy Twitter, and he did it. And then he didn't want to buy it, and then they forced him to buy it because it would make them money because they
Yeah,
know that they
yeah.
were ripping him off.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody wants to buy something, they could leverage and they could force a sale.
Mm.
Because the fiduciary responsibility of the board is to make the most money for its shareholders.
Mm-hmm.
And so they kind of be like, if somebody says, look, your shares, I don't even know what Disney's at right now, 80 something probably.
Mm-hmm.
If they say, look, we can get you guys, every one of you, $95 a share. And let's say the share price is like 88.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of have a responsibility to sell. You know, it's and if they don't, they could be sued.
Yeah.
You know. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. What do you give Secret Invasion? What did I give
Maybe
it? I
you
think I gave it a
haven't
7.
given-
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a 7 is fair. I mean, I'm easy to please too. It's entertaining. I just had those two qualms with it, which is the whole, Amelia Clark being the strongest
Yeah.
Avenger or whatever. Not strongest Avenger, but, strongest person in the MCU.
Right.
And
And again, are
What do
we
you
even
think?
going to see her again?
that's
You
the
know?
thing. It's like,
I don't
okay.
know. I mean,
Well, I mean, it left with her working for the
yeah.
the English version of Val,
Mm-hmm.
basically. So we might see her again. But then again, it's like, why do you have this thing that's the strong, has all these superpowers, has like, all the
Yeah.
Avengers superpowers in one person?
I mean, I don't know. They could always retcon and be like, oh, well, this process was temporary. Do something like that.
It
Some-
faded away.
Somehow she lost all her powers. Somehow Palpatine returned.
Well,
You know?
yeah, they could do the Jane story.
Yeah.
All that stuff gave her radiation or what? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Like
know.
Jane.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
She's a Skrull, so she's immune to radiation. But
Yeah, so they can't do that.
Yeah, but whatever. I don't want all hope to have to lie in Deadpool. But maybe it does. But we'll see.
Maybe they'll just make a new Earth. The MCU
Well, that's
has a new Earth.
if you want a
yeah,
spoiler within a
new
spoiler.
universe.
In Secret Wars, that's what happens. It's kind
new
of
universe.
the Fantastic Four ends up having to reboot the universe because
Mm,
and that's why I kept wanting you to read those comics
mm.
and then you stop, but you'll probably read them again because it's.
I think I only have like
Well, I think I had you
20
reading
to
Time
go.
because you were
Right?
reading Time Runs Out.
Yeah,
That's-
I went all the way back,
that's
and I didn't know. I went all the way
no,
back.
I wanted you to do that. Time Runs Out is what happens before Secret Wars.
Mm,
Then Secret Wars is the series after it. But you have to know what led up to it. If you just started reading Secret Wars, you'd be like, oh, there's just these people I don't know fighting, kind of. And it's like,
Yeah.
you have to know the context
yeah.
and everything. But, yeah. So, yeah, I give it a 7. And as I said before, we're going to be doing another giveaway. And I have a limited edition Funko Pop Secret Invasion. This is a limited edition Nick Fury. I've already posted it on the social medias. And all you have to do is direct message us. Same way you do with all of our giveaways. Facebook, Instagram, or you can email us at info@ropedroppingknowledge.com. That guacamole is just smashed squirrels.
What?
Yeah.
Guacamole smashes scrolls?
No, guacamole is smashed up scrolls.
Smashed up scrolls.
Yeah, that's it. Because that's what really guacamole is.
Well, they have purple blood, not green blood.
Yeah, I don't know what's and the seed of an avocado looks purple to me. So you could say smashed up scrolls or ground up scrolls. Either way, that's what avocados are. That's what guacamole is. So that's how you win. This particular giveaway will end September 2nd. Must be 18 years older and live in the United States. All right. I'm Brian.
I'm Tracy.
Stay magical.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe and visit us at www.ropedroppingknowledge.com.